They fought long. They fought hard. They fought for an India free to dream of a better tomorrow. But no account of a free India is complete without an account of those who have been at the heart of those ventures, micro, small, medium or large, that freed up the potential of $1 billion. Hidden in millions of books of accounts is an inspiring saga of those who took on the heavy mantle of accountability. It's an epic full of unsung heroes, of demanding quests for everlasting values, of a body deemed so important, Parliament passed it into law even before the Constitution. An initiative so critical, it had to become nothing less than the most hallowed of institutions. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI. The profession of accountancy in the modern sense was recognized in India when the Companies Act of 1913 mandated that the balance sheet of every firm would be audited by an auditor of the company. What still needed recognition was that Indian accountants were skilled and capable enough to carry the designation of Chartered Accountant, a title reserved for those certified through an examination by any of the 5 societies of accountants registered in the United Kingdom and from other parts of the British Empire, except India. In 1931, the Indian Accountancy Board (IAB) was set up, and in March 1936, the first demands for chartered were raised. Every year, the pleas were more insistent. From nominated members to elected, from demographic representation to meritocratic, many changes happened, but not the change to Chartered Accountant, a coveted title that carried with it the weight of responsibility, an implicit sense of higher standards and duty. Giving that title demanded the British recognize the merits of accountants in India, who were still mere registered accountants. When the tricolour rose, along with it arose not just a sense of patriotism, but awareness of the mammoth task of building a nation, of building enterprises and companies, of growing the economy. The role of accountants as vital agents of accountability became even more critical. Their broad shoulders were ready, and they deserved the recognition of their skills. The IAB's determined efforts from 1945 to 1948 resulted in the formation of an accountancy expert committee comprising 5 practicing members of the profession and 4 from the government side. Their report and a draft bill they submitted recommended the designation of Chartered Accountant for all registered accountants and the formation of an Institute of Chartered Accountants to be formally incorporated through a special act of the Dominion Legislature. The bill was vetted by the Ministry of Law and a summary was referred to the Cabinet, which concurred. It was further referred to a select committee, whose report, dated 1st March 1949, was tabled before the Dominion Legislature. The bill was passed, assented to by the then Governor-General of India, Dr. C. Rajagopalachari, on 1st May 1949, published in the Gazette of India on 3rd May, and came into force on 1st July 1949. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was born. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India held its first council meeting on the 15th and 16th of August 1949. It was a meeting not just of minds, but of visionary minds. Minds that were mindful of the fact that the decisions they took today, the priorities they set, the direction they steered, the issues and the way they debated them would decide whether we remained an institute or became an institution. Several remarkable things happened at that historic first meeting. A tone of congeniality and of goodwill was forever set when the President and the Vice President were elected unopposed.
In the absence of any other nominations, I declare CA Kapadia and CA Basu elected as President and Vice President respectively.
And so was the Secretary.
The proposal to appoint Mr. K. Srinivasan as the first Secretary is carried unanimously. Thank you.
And the members of the standing committees. A spirit of cooperation between the government and ICAI was fostered when the government offered office space for immediate use and land on a paid basis for the nascent organization's future headquarters.
Let the headquarters be in Delhi for 1 year and position can be reviewed later.
The interests of the practicing accountants were addressed foremost.
The consensus appears to be that certificates of practice as associates and fellows should be issued to all who are entitled to it according to information available with government. In doubtful cases, the persons concerned should be asked to obtain the approval of the council for taking up other employment within a specified period.
A strong pillar for efficiency was erected when the council found the government's recommendation for staffing as too generous and opted to operate with less. Selflessness became a guiding virtue when, despite the option of higher remuneration, the members elected to stick to the rather meager government allowances.
So far as government officers of grade 1 are concerned, the maximum rate of daily allowance admissible to them is Rs 15 a day. As regards TA, they are entitled to 1 1/4 AFS if they travel by air and 1/2 rail fare if they traveled by train.
Let us accept the proposal.
The value of frugality was strongly etched in the first ever budget, which kept expenses so low that there were funds available for the organization's growth even with the then paltry revenues of just Rs 2,29,000. And finally, integrity, trust, responsibility, service and cooperation were made irrevocable values of the institute when the newly elected president made his closing speech with these golden words.
I have taken up the duty of the President as I was sure of the cooperation of the members of the Council. The profession has certainly to prove that it deserved the autonomy. The function of the auditor is not merely to act as a tool in the hands of persons who are responsible for his appointment, but to discharge his duties in a proper manner. The other aspect of the case is the relations of the profession with the income tax department. I do not see any reason why this sort of atmosphere should at all exist. A position should be achieved where the department itself comes to the conclusion that it is the profession only on whom the trust of the department should be reposed. When we are able to create that position, that will be the day when we have proved to government and to the country that we deserve the autonomy in the fullest measures.
In the first ever council meeting, the members deliberated that we are not to be guided by petty considerations but by what's best for India. It was clear that we wanted to be an institution not of accountancy alone but of nation building. These high ideals needed an emblem and a motto that would not just guide and inspire us but remind us to wear the designation of CA as proudly as a badge of honor. In the second meeting of the Council of ICAI held on 9th and 10th November 1949, The President CA GP Kapadia drew the attention of the members to folders containing designs of the proposed emblems for the institution. He also explained the reasoning for each. One design stood out, perhaps because it was specially blessed. CACS Sastri, a member of the council and a devotee of Sri Aurobindo, sought His Holiness advice on a symbol that would capture the spirit and intent of the newly formed ICAI. Well versed in the scriptures and immensely wise, Sri Aurobindo proposed the Garuda as the symbol, and as ICAI's motto, a quotation from the Kathopanishad, Ya Esha Sukteshu Jagriti, one who is awake amongst those who are asleep. The Garuda in mythology is the Vahan of Lord Vishnu, he who sustains the world. The Garuda flies faster than thought, soars above petty considerations, and has incredible sight that misses nothing. Ya Esha Sukteshu Jagriti goes to the very heart of what a CA does, urging him to stay vigilant and guard the financial health of enterprises and the nation. We couldn't have found a symbol and a motto more appropriate or inspiring. The account of ICAI's progress is an account of India's progress. It has fallen on India's chartered accountants to not just stay current with the change, but to also be its catalyst and the one to steer it. From an institute with humble beginnings, with just 15 office bearers and 5 government nominees, we had to grow in stature and become an institution like none other, one that could champion the little-known profession of chartered accountancy and make it a coveted one that could nurture talent and ensure that it was the best, one that could ensure that the profession spread its wings far and wide, one that could design the most rigorous curriculums, hold exams, hold hands, hold high the torch of integrity, one that could form policy along with the nation's policymakers, an institute that has always looked at doing more. From proudly hosting the 21st World Congress of Accountants to being the key body driving implementation of GST, from coming up with the unique idea of UDIN for better governance and documentation authenticity and management to creating numerous initiatives to strengthen MSMEs, from launching financial, tax literacy and sustainability literacy drives to partnering the nation's Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, from taking forward the Government Export of Services initiative by identifying accountancy as one of the 12 champion services sectors, to ICAI becoming the pioneering accounting body in the world to release the detailed Forensic Accounting and Investigation Standards (FAIS), Sustainability Reporting Standards, Social Audit Standards, and other internationally benchmarked standards. An institute that has always looked to what's next. What we see is Indian chartered accountants becoming leading accounting and auditing firms across the world. We see business advisory services including strategic consulting, risk management, forensic accounting, and other specialized areas like information systems audit to meet the diverse needs of business and society. We see an evolving curriculum that incorporates emerging fields like multidisciplinary practice, data analytics, cyber security, sustainability reporting, and more. We see a rapid acceleration in our digital transformation. We see artificial intelligence, automation, and blockchain revolutionizing the field, and India's chartered accountants adapting to this transformation quickest in the world. We see Indian chartered accountants leading with the spirit of Vishwaguru in accounting, finance, advisory and audit functions. Today, we celebrate 75 years of ensuring an effective financial ecosystem. 75 years of excellence, independence and integrity. 75 glorious years of building trust. 75 साल विश्वास के ICAI 75 years.